Well, welcome along to this next instalment of our themed content series, which we are calling Landlord Digital Lives. It's in association with our friends and partners at Landlord, and this whole series is about encouraging landlords to adopt digital technology and digital tools. And for this interview, I'm delighted to be joined by Steve Walker, who is Managing Director of Promise Money, who are also a partner of the Landlord Finance Hub. So it's great to welcome you back to Property Tribes, Steve, and just be interested to know initially, we know that landlords and certainly the property sector has been quite resistant to change in the past. One of the things that COVID-19, lockdown and all the ensuing economic fallout has done is it has really accelerated trends, and it's kind of shown the power of having a digital life.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think the partnership that we're putting together with Landlord is epitomizes this really, because they are a very data-driven organization, which makes it very easy for landlords to capture all of the information they have about their portfolios and what they're doing, but to then put that in front of a specialist who can help them when it comes to raising finance. I think a key thing here is because our relationship marries together the best of experience and underwriting criteria and knowledge with technology, is that we can present to landlords products and services that they probably didn't know ever existed.
I know. I think you've just hit on one of the huge benefits of digital technology and the partnership with people and digital tools, because none of us are saying that these digital tools are going to completely change the human interaction, that they're not. We still recognize that property is a people business, and that relationships and business relationships are very important. Certainly when I was in kind of the main building phase of my own portfolio, I regarded my mortgage broker as almost like a business partner, ditto my lettings agent.
It's quite exciting actually, because if you look at the market over the last few years for landlords, it's been pretty tough, and it's going to continue to be hard work. Nothing's easy in life, but what I think is exciting is that by using technology to then better inform you, can help you I guess fight back against some of the challenges that exist. I have a lovely saying in our business, which I say to our underwriters: you don't know what you don't know. And it's the same for landlords. There are products out there, fabulous products, which could help you move your business forward, but you don't know they exist. And technology is going to help you get to those products. And with the interaction with human beings as well, you can actually talk about them and understand them and find out how they can fit into your business and be guided through all of that. So I think it's an exciting time for the future and for landlords to I think take their businesses to the next level, especially the I guess the part-time landlord or somebody who's just building up a portfolio at the moment probably hasn't got an awful lot of time to research these products and find out about them. So the technology will help them take their business forward quite quickly by working together with experts who've got access to the data that they hold on their portfolios.
So, Steve, you picked up on two things there, that immediately resonated with me, and that is efficiency and also speed when using digital tools. But I'm always talking about how these tools can also help mitigate risk. And in the context of, yourself as a mortgage broker and packager, it could actually be opportunity risk as well, couldn't it?
Absolutely, yes. I think the Landlord platform is fantastic for helping landlords to manage their risks and tell them when things are going to go out of date, to make sure that they don't fall foul of any regulations or rules that may exist. But it's also about opportunity, and with the technology and the feeds and the information that can be provided to us, I see our role to educate brokers and help them find opportunities that they would have otherwise missed. And that could be an opportunity about financing something in a totally different way, or it could be an opportunity to acquire a property that they previously thought they couldn't acquire. So risk and opportunity, I think, are two of the great benefits of this.
No, I agree. And I think, going forwards into 2021, even at the tail end of last year, portfolio landlords in particular were commenting on Property Tribes, how they were struggling to grow their portfolios because of the stricter criteria, jumping through hoops, crawling over broken glass, etc. And again, as you said before, if you're not aware of those opportunities of perhaps non-standard products or lenders that are not as well known, or people such as yourself, like Promise Money, who deal with much more complex cases where it's not just a case of the computer says no, you have a human underwriter looking at the project, understanding it, seeing where they can place that lending. These in 2021, this could be the difference between staying static or actually being able to grow further.
Yes, you're right. And at the risk of boring you with criteria, we get calls of this nature all the time. Most of them come from other brokers, mortgage brokers, where they're struggling to place cases, and they come to us. So for landlords, they can come direct. But questions like, well, I've got a property here and it's unmortgageable, what can I do? Well, there are lenders that will actually give you a term mortgage on an unmortgageable property. You don't have to go down the bridging route, or you could look at using other security and using second charges. So there's so many products that we've got available within our portfolio, and it really is it's whole of market mortgages, buy-to-let, residential, second charges, bridging, commercial, development, unsecured business finance, secured overdrafts. The overdrafts are a brilliant facility for landlords, where you can raise a second charge on on one of your properties, on a portfolio of properties, and then just draw down the money as you need it and pay it back when you don't need it. And you only incur interest on what you're borrowing, and there are no penalties for drawing it down and paying it back. It's a brilliant product, but so few landlords know about it.
Well, indeed, and this is the one of the main points of the collaboration between Landlord and Property Tribes, is to provide these educational resources of what's out there for landlords and property investors, and then also kind of plug in companies such as Promise Money, who can serve those needs that, as you say, many landlords won't be aware of. And Steve, I think we've seen over the last 5 years that the government has definitely had a certain direction of travel to professionalise the sector, which I think is actually, a positive thing. I don't necessarily agree about how they've gone about doing that, but definitely the sector did need professionalising. We needed to try and get rid of the rogues and the criminal operators out there. Do you see kind of digital tools as part of that kind of harmonious process of becoming a more professional landlord?
I think it can be very tempting to try and do it the old way, but yes, I do, because I think if you get on board with organisations like Property Tribes and Landlord and use the tools, they are going to develop and they are going to take you forward. And as a landlord, to know there's somebody out there who's thinking on your behalf about what you're going to need next to make your business better and more professional has got to be a good thing. So I'd encourage every landlord to get on board with these digital tools and use them. And I think they're likely to be swept along in that wave of professionalism by doing so.
Well, that's wonderful for you to make that point, Steve. Thank you so much. You've just made my day. You really have. And Avram, I'm sure as well, will be smiling. Just as we close this out then, Steve, when we were talking off camera before we started the call, you were very optimistic about the opportunities that 2021 will present. And I was so delighted to hear that, because towards the end of last year, we were in another lockdown. There was so much uncertainty. There was Brexit on the horizon. One thing landlords hate is uncertainty. It is difficult to operate in uncertain times, but to hear from somebody as yourself with so many years experience in the sector, your eyes are shining, your tail is up, and you say there's going to be opportunities ahead. Really interested, just to finish by picking your property brain, to ask where you see those opportunities.
I think a lot of those opportunities are going to come from knowledge, really, from what we've talked about earlier, which is landlords becoming empowered through technology to become more effective and to buy properties they previously wouldn't buy. We've had the whole industry has had a real beating over the last few months, obviously, and lenders have gone back into their shells in terms of what they will and won't do. But we're already starting to see that ease, and with the recent lockdown just before Christmas, there was a lot of talk about are lenders going to retract again? But lenders had already got used to the new normal. They were already planning for that, so we didn't really feel that at all. So I think over the next 12 months, we're going to see a lot of opportunity in lending, but I think most important is for the professional and the semi-professional landlord, for them to use technology to get to grips with other opportunities to borrow and how they can structure their finances and how they can open up new business opportunities for themselves using these financial tools. I think that's where we're going to see a lot of growth coming from, through education. And I'll just repeat again what I said earlier: you don't know what you don't know. So use the technology, use people like us to find out what you don't know for the benefit of your business.
I totally subscribe to that. I did want to ask one more question, if you don't mind, Steve, because you prompted a thought process in me. Towards the tail end of last year, we did see, it was quite interesting actually, we have the Commercial Property Tribe, which has been one of our smaller discussion groups. The activity in that has ramped up very significantly in the last 2 or 3 months. Do you see a shift from bog standard buy-to-let more towards commercial in 2021, or are there any other kind of niche strategies that you think are going to do really, really well?
I agree with you that to the back end of last year, we did see an increase in commercial activity, but what we didn't see was an increase in appetite from lenders, commercial lenders. I'm talking about the main high street banks now, and even some of the tier 2 commercial lenders. Now, these are organisations who will take on portfolios and buy-to-lets, but are more into the commercial property. But one thing they weren't very keen on was investment property. But I think that's going to change as we move through the coming year, and in fact, it already has started to change. So, in terms of commercial lending through the high street banks, it's an opportunity that landlords need to be aware of and explore. Because sometimes that's the best way and the only way to go as their portfolio gets much, much larger. But having said that, don't lose sight of the little independent building societies who'll do those one-off deals for landlords who have got a smaller portfolio, because their rates often are better than the commercial high street lenders.
Oh, fantastic. I can only thank you, Steve, for taking part in our themed content series, Landlord Digital Lives. It's been so interesting to hear from somebody such as yourself with, decades of experience in the property sector, and to finish on such a positive note that you see, good times ahead for landlords. And as we've always said, there is opportunity in any adversity, and I think you've really hit on the fact that education is the key that turns in the lock to open that opportunity. So I can't thank you enough for taking part in this video, and we're very much looking forward to working further with you in collaboration with Landlord as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. All the best for 2021.
Thank you, and to you and all of your subscribers.
Oh, very kind. So if you've been watching on YouTube, please do like this video if you've got value from it. Please do also subscribe, click that subscribe button, smash the notifications bell. And as ever, these are just where we host our videos on YouTube. Our main discussion and knowledge base is over at propertytribes.com. So please jump across there. If you have any questions, if you're interested to know more about Promise Money and Landlord and what Steve does, then you're welcome to ask those questions on Property Tribes, and Steve or a member of his team will be happy to answer them. But for now, as I say, thank you very much to Steve for his insights, and we will see you tomorrow for the next instalment of Landlord Digital Lives. So stay tuned.